990 AM or North Shore Radio LLC.
All right, New Orleans, welcome to the Tuesday night edition of the Jack Clegg Show. And you're listening to WGSO 990 AM and WGSO.com. And you're also possibly watching on YouTube, Facebook, or X. Welcome to the show. Last Thursday, last Thursday we were all getting tryptophan poisoning and having our Thanksgiving. But last Tuesday was the last show we had. And we talked about what we thought. I asked the multiple choice question of what was the biggest problem we're facing today in America. And the answer to that multiple choice question was the destruction of our youth. And I forget what the other choices were. They involved wars or they involved events, none of which are as serious as the problem dealing with our youth today. And we went through the show. We had some really good callers, some good comments, and analyzed everything. But we didn't complete. And I said we would talk about it again this evening on the Tuesday night show. So tonight's show is going to be called Miseducation in America and in the world. And there are many things we're going to talk about this evening, but essentially we're going to try to get to the issue of why we are having such horrible test scores, why students, while they're in high school, are committing atrocities, horrible atrocities. Now, I don't want to be like one of the old geezers who said, oh, these kids today, they don't know right from wrong. Well, okay, that is a problem, but there's other problems about it. Let me start off by saying that there was a lawsuit filed this week. 33 state attorney generals filed a lawsuit against Meta. Meta is the parent company for Facebook. Okay, they filed a suit against several of the Meta platforms, and again, Meta is the parent company of these folks. And what they were alleging, and what they have alleged, is that Meta deliberately engineered its social platforms to addict kids, to get them addicted to these things. And it knew but never disclosed to parents that it had received several million complaints about youngsters using Instagram, which requires you to be 13 or older, but only disabled a small fraction of those accounts. Meta officials acknowledged that the company's documents, their own documents, showed that Meta and its engineers designed its software to exploit the shortcomings of youthful psychology. And this is the important part that we're all seeming to forget about. And this is, no matter how you look at it, these are the things that are happening. First of all, the youthful psychology that's being exploited by these purveyors of internet software and so forth. There are three main ones that they've taken advantage of. Number one, impulsive behavior. Okay, if you know kids, that's what they do. Number two, susceptibility of peer pressure. Have groups, make sure groups are involved in things. Number three, this is the most significant, the underestimation of the risks of their action. They have no clue what the risks are to themselves and to others. Okay, now again, I don't want to sound like the old geezer who's saying, oh, those kids today. But people are making money off of this. And that's the crime. How does this then pair into the idea of miseducation? Well, I want to talk about that a little bit this evening. And if any of the listeners are interested in calling, it's 504 556 9696. I'm going to use two significant events, and nothing more significant than the trial of a juvenile as an adult. That's a big deal. That's a big deal throughout the country and pretty much throughout the world. Efforts are made to be lenient to youthful criminals. Why? Well, because of the three things I just mentioned. Their psychology is not fully developed yet, and they can be taken advantage of by others very simply. And so we always, and as teachers, those three rules should be emblazoned in their heads. Students are susceptible to impulsive behavior, susceptibility to peer pressure, and underestimation of risks. We've got a beautiful example happened last week, Thanksgiving week, in New York. Anybody know about what happened in Queens, at the high school in Queens? This is an amazing story, and it's only getting limited coverage. But since the October 7th attack by Hamas on Israel, for some reason, here in America, there has been this outpouring of support for Palestine. They've been protesting left, protesting right. They've been intimidating Jewish students, intimidating Jewish people. This story I'm about to tell you took place last Monday, not yesterday, a week ago Monday, at a high school in New Jersey. I'm sorry, not New Jersey, in the Queens, which is a section of New York. Okay. What happened was there was a teacher there. Apparently she's Jewish. She went to a rally with a bunch of Jewish supporters and was holding up a sign that apparently said, support Israel. Okay. That happened the weekend before. Monday, she goes to school, like she does all the time, and apparently some students came across a photograph of her at this Jewish rally. That was the beginning. They began a riot in the school. They vandalized school property, destroyed all kinds of property. But the worst was they came after her. They tried to get her in her class. Some of them were shouting, kill her, kill her, kill the Jew, kill the Jew. Others were yelling, fire her, have her lose her job. Other teachers had to rush in and protect her and put their bodies between those students and her. Now, this to me, the entire Israel-Palestine issue is ripe for education. And as part of the education, what these students did, and after the break, we're going to talk about what happens to people who are radicalized and what they do. This should be the lesson plan of every social studies teacher, the few that we have left in the country. Anyway, we got to take a break right now. We'll be back after a few minutes. We're going to continue to talk about miseducation and come back in a few minutes to Jack Clegg Show. We'll see you then.
Big Easy Pet Shop and Rescue is a non-profit volunteer-run rescue. We provide adoption services and care for homeless animals across the New Orleans metro area. We also offer pet supplies and grooming services at our downtown and Marigny locations. The shops are located at 839 Spain Street and 513 Dumaine Street and are open from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. weekdays and noon to 6 on Saturdays, noon to 5 on Sundays. We can be found on the web at BigEasyPetShop.com. Support local animals in need by shopping and adopting with Big Easy Animal Rescue.
More and more Americans are listening on American ground. Listen each Saturday from noon to 1 p.m. with Louis R. Avalone and Stephen Parr.
Sky-high interest rates are forcing more and more homeowners to remodel instead of build.
If that's you, call me, Shane Mulkey with VinylTech. During our end-of-the-year blowout sale, let us make your home look new for less. Save big now on siding, gutters, stucco, patio covers, and roofing from VinylTech. Get your home ready for the holidays. Call VinylTech now, 504-469-7590. VinylTech. VinylTechNola.com.
Hey, it's Christian. DTS Appliance Direct is moving to City Park. Go now to their current location, 3240 Parish Road in Chalmette, right next to Winn-Dixie. DTS Appliance Direct is liquidating their current inventory up to 25% off on appliances, high-end appliances, Z-Line, Blaze Grill, Monogram, Cafe, Hire, and many more. Call DTS Appliance Direct, 504-766-0738. Take advantage of this massive, massive deal. Call DTS Appliance Direct, 504-766-0738.
Got your license to grill? Call Chew on This Saturdays at noon on WGSO and tell us all about it. Don Clement and Patty B are waiting to hear your cooking secrets.
You can check out He Said, She Said on a new day.
Hump Day.
A new day, but we'll still be discussing and debating the hot topics.
Wednesdays at 5.
Here on WGSO. Are you tired of cookie cutter advertising? Do you want professionals that understand your needs and budgets? If so, let me recommend the Madley Group. It's a marketing agency based in St. Tammany, offering creative services such as branding and copywriting, video and photography, social media strategies, print and digital design, project management, and web design and strategies. They believe that relationships with their clients are just as important as their craftsmanship. And it's no surprise that they have an array of satisfied clients who appreciate the homegrown values of the Madley Group. Their approach is simple: lots of listening until they fully grasp your vision. Then they put their mind power on it to deliver effective creative solutions within your budgets and time frame. For more information, check out themadleygroup.com or email them at info@madleygroup.com. The Madley Group, dedicated to delivering stellar work that generates results.
All right, New Orleans, welcome to the second segment of the Jack Clegg Show tonight. You're listening to WGSO 990 AM and possibly on WGSO.com, Facebook, or YouTube. Okay, we have a caller that I promised last Thursday or Tuesday night that he would be the first caller up. Cajun Whistleblower. Go ahead. Take a minute. You got 1 minute. Go ahead.
Good evening, brother and sister, pro-life, whistleblowing patriots, parents, pet owners, police, military, cowboys, and cowgirls. We, the people of Israel, the precious, and America the beautiful, must keep demanding the release immediately of all of our hostages. Hamas, Hezbollah, Iranian kidnapping, murdering, terrorism must be dismissed, dismantled, and disfunded. The Word of God from the Bible says to rescue the innocent and defend the helpless. Stand in the gap. Watch those walls. Learn the mind of Jesus Christ and the full armor of God. Brothers and sisters, work together and pray for the release of all hostages and the end of all forms of abortion across the whole world. America and Israel, wake up. Amen.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And the topic that he happened to discuss, and we never know what he's going to say, the topic that he mentioned, of course, was the Palestine versus Israel battle. And I'm going to go back and give you a few more details about what was happening in the hallways of the school, how this thing developed in Queens. And then we're going to get into the crime that was just tried, the trial yesterday of John Honore about the Miss Fricky murder. Okay. So as I said before, word got out and a photograph got out of this teacher. Her name has not been released at a school. The school actually it's called the Hillcrest High School, and it's in Queens. And when they posted the picture of her, and they decided to create what's called a group chat. So using their cell phones, and they all have cell phones, they're talking about what to do. They doxed her. By doxed, that means they released her picture. These are the students that are doing this. The picture, her address, where she lives, who her friends are. And they discussed online starting a riot at the school. And sure enough, that's what they did. As I said before, they tried to break into her room, and thankfully the other teachers prevented it from happening. They were yelling, "Free Palestine." They were yelling, "She must go." They were yelling, "She must die." This is in a high school in America. Now, as we said before, Meta and all the internet services know how to use the three rules, and that is that students are susceptible to peer pressure. Well, they all were. And it was amazing. It's amazing that this hasn't been on the news day after day after day since it happened. But it involves children. And once again, our laws, in my view, are too strictly applied to protect children. And the reason that I'm saying they're too strictly applied is these are teachable moments. What happened here, what happened in Queens, to me is a teachable moment. Teachers, if they're any good, should, at the youngest possible age, talk about the consequences of bad conduct. That's what we need to educate students about, as well as other things. All right. What happened in New York, and fortunately the woman wasn't hurt. But there's another trial going on right now in Paris, France. This is a trial that is really interesting. This is the trial, if you remember a couple of years ago, well, more than a couple of years ago, we learned that radical Islamists threatened to kill anyone who is critical of Muhammad, the Islam prophet. And if you remember, there was a case in Paris where a teacher, during teaching a civics class, was essentially the same as a civics class, they were discussing debate, held up some caricatures of Muhammad. And there wasn't a scene, there wasn't anything. However, I think it was 2 days or 3 days later, an 18-year-old who was radicalized ended up beheading this school teacher, cutting his head off with a sword. When the police arrived, the fight ensued, and the killer was shot and killed himself. So what's the trial going right now? What's the trial about? The trial involves 4 teenagers who were students who apparently there was a rumor going on that this had happened. And this 18-year-old radicalized killer wanted to confront the teacher. And he apparently paid these 4 teenagers about 300 euros a piece, which is about $350, somewhere $350, to identify who the teacher was, because the 18-year-old killer didn't know what he looked like. And they, in fact, did. So now they're on trial in Paris for the murder. Again, a teachable moment. You don't do things like this. This is amazing. And most people, when I first learned about the story, I asked some friends about it. Nobody has heard about this. Nobody has heard that this is happening. Why isn't this one of the number one media stories today? It should be. It should be. And good teachers should be able to inform students, particularly youthful ones, who succumb to peer pressure. What were the three? The other thing, succumb to peer pressure as well as act impulsively. What did they think that this guy was going to do if he was willing to pay them $300 each, or 300 euros each, sorry, to identify this guy? What did they think was going to happen? Anyway, do we have other callers online? Let's go with the Flaming Liberal. Let's see what the Flaming Liberal has to say. Good evening.
Well, good evening. And I was flaming before flaming was cool. But what do you think about Trump's latest campaign idea to make another effort to repeal Obamacare, and with nothing, of course, that we know of or is even in the making to replace it, meaning I think more than 30 million people would lose health care, and consequently, people will die. Isn't that a brilliant idea?
Well,
I'm being facetious, of course.
I know you are, yeah, and that's it. I have to say, and I apologize, I am not up on the details of what he's trying to do. I know that Obamacare has been a boon to insurance companies. The medical insurance business has made a fortune off of Obamacare. So I know that's happened. And I'm not a big fan of big pharma, and I'm now becoming even less of a fan about the medical industry.
But there's no difference. And I'm 74 years of age.
Okay.
I have Humana Medicare Advantage. And I love
Can you hold on one second? Hold on one second. We're going to take a break. We're going to take a break in 30 seconds, and I'm going to ask you to hold on after the break, and we can talk about this briefly. So right now, we're going to take a break from the second into the third segment. You're going to hear some commercials and enjoy them, and we'll be back in a few moments.
Hi, this is Kevin Carr, host of Fat Guys at the Movies. Listen every Sunday at 8 p.m. on WGSO 990 AM, the community voice of the Crescent City.
You might be afraid to speak out for fear of cancel culture or losing your job. Christian Garrick Show on WGSO is your platform. Noon to 2, weekdays, right here on 990 AM WGSO.
Tune in to Chew on This, Saturdays at noon on WGSO. Tell us what you're cooking or ask us how to cook it with Don Clement and Patty B. We'll share recipes, cooking techniques, everything from sous vide to grilling. Got a favorite kitchen gadget? Let us know about it. Your grandma's secret sauce? Now we're talking. Tips from home cooks for gourmet cooking at your home. Join Don Clement and Patty B for Chew on This, Saturdays at noon on WGSO.
Come on to my house.
Boy, have we got a show for you this week. Ever wonder where all the great songs have gone? Well, we found them. Hey everyone, I'm Pat Matthews, your host of 70s Deja Vu. And once again, I'll be looking in the rearview mirror and I'll see you in the back seat. Join me for some great music, all selected to get you going on 70s Deja Vu. Sunday morning at 7 a.m. right here on 990 AM WGSO.
I love MyPillow products, and I love that Mike Lindell is so passionate about his products and America. I use the pillows and the slippers and enjoy them so much. I'm placing orders on more of his products using the promo code WWFA at mypillow.com to get big discounts on any of their products, and you will see what the rest of America loves about the products you can find at mypillow.com using the promo code WWFA.
Join me, Mitch Gibbs, every Saturday morning from 9 to 11 a.m. for our 8th season of Breakfast with the Bayou Bagels live.
Louisiana Radio Network, I'm Colleen Crane.
A mystery respiratory disease among dogs in 12 states so far is raising concern among veterinarians. New Orleans veterinarian Dr. Clegg says while no cases have been reported in Louisiana, there have been cases in Florida and Georgia. Symptoms include coughing, eye and nose discharge, and lethargy.
So if your pup is just seeming a little bit off, maybe not wanting to play as much, not wanting to eat, and then has that little lingering cough, we'd recommend that you contact your vet sooner rather than later.
And on this Giving Tuesday, the Humane Society of Louisiana Director Jeff Dorson hopes you will support their work. Dorson says the society receives about 5 to 10 cruelty reports a day from anywhere in the state. He says in the past few days, they found animals who needed essential medical care.
A dog found with an open laceration. It needed vet care. Another dog hit by a car. People have this idea that somebody's going to step in and help. Well, often in Louisiana, there is no department assigned to helping stray animals.
LRN.
Life in Louisiana is a symphony of sound, colors, and movement. Here, we keep our own beat. Sometimes we move slow, sometimes pretty fast. Life is a celebration of moments, big and small, and Blue Cross is here for it all.
Life is always in motion, and sometimes it's unpredictable. That's why it's good to know you can rely on the strength of the cross and protection of the shield. Your card opens the door to a large network of top doctors to care for you.
Life here is simple. It's about front porches and muddy shoes, mosquitoes and barbecues, and everything else in between.
So live life knowing Blue Cross has you covered for the highs and the lows that come your way. Always there. The right card, the right care.
When the time came, I knew I had to find a place where Mom would be safe and active while still feeling independent. A place that was close to all of us and everything she needed. Locally owned and operated in the heart of Gonzales, I found Francois Benz Senior Living. They specialize in independent and assisted living and memory care.
Call 225-647-BEND for more information on our special pre-leasing offers.
Francois Benz Senior Living. Experience life as it should be.
Hi, I'm Huck, an active Christian who loves Louisiana. One of my goals is to bring Louisiana's education from 50th to number 1.
And I'm Dave. I'm not afraid of government bureaucrats. I fear God. Our rights and freedoms come from Him.
This is Liberty or Lockdown. Please join us on Thursdays at 5 p.m. on WGSO 990 AM and WGSO.com.
What does Grace mean to you? At Grace of the Green Light, a 501c3 nonprofit, we believe that everyone deserves a hot meal, clean drinking water, and the chance to go home again. Our work is made possible through the generous support of Emery and James Limited, an independent insurance agent serving Covington, Hammond, and Metairie, Louisiana. Emery and James, serving our community for generations. Learn more at emeryjames.com.
Do you have ghosts in your house? Well, I do. Hi, it's Bloody Mary, your local spirit guide, psychic medium, and celebrity ghost hunter. I run the Haunted Museum and Native Spirit Shop in the French Quarter. Come to a ghost hunt with us and sharpen your communication skills with the other side. Don't be afraid. I'll teach you how to as we learn and do. Go ghost hunting, join a Victorian seance, and explore the beyond. Did you know that you can even plan an entire haunted night at the museum for your private party, 7 days, 7 nights? Join us, BloodyMaryNewOrleans.com.
Okay, New Orleans, welcome back to the third segment of the Jack Clegg Show on WGSO. And we had a caller in who had said that Trump was going to repeal Obamacare, and you had some issues with that. Are you still there?
Right. What I don't understand is I have Medicare Advantage, and I love it. Now, Medicare Advantage was, and I'm not particularly a fan of Republicans, but I'll give Republicans a big gold star. Medicare Advantage works well for me, and there's not a penny's worth of difference between Medicare Advantage and Obamacare. It's a private insurer government partnership.
Okay. Let me just ask you this. Let me just ask you, and you like the Obamacare aspect, which you don't have. You have the Advantage plan. Right. Now, do you have any criticism at all of the cost of Obamacare?
We know. I'll tell you what. Before I answer that, I'll do it this way. Paul Krugman wrote in his column in the New York Times, "There is no better plan," and that's good enough for me.
Okay, so Paul Krugman told you it's perfect. You believe it's perfect,
right? Well, I'm not an analyst or statistician.
Okay,
I don't have the resources he has, but I don't think there is a better plan, and
Okay.
it's certainly going to save lives. And this is the wealthiest. This is the wealthiest country in the world.
Sure.
If we can't provide at least basic health care for our people,
sure,
it's a disgrace.
Would it be wrong if someone else is president? Take Trump out of the situation. Someone else, because of the cost of Obamacare, would it be wrong for someone to look for alternatives?
Right, but there's nothing that's in the making. There's no bill being proposed.
Well,
you don't take something and replace it with nothing.
Well, if
there's something better?
So
I'll be glad to listen.
you believe what Paul Krugman does? Paul Krugman say that if Trump is elected, he's going to, on the first day he's there, repeal Obamacare without having an alternative. He's just going to repeal it. Is that what you believe?
No, well, Paul Krugman, that's silly. Paul Krugman would never propose to do such a thing.
Well, does he say Trump is going to do that?
Oh, Trump said he's going to do it.
Oh, really?
Yes, he's made a speech. You didn't hear it?
I didn't hear the speech, but I read what he wrote Saturday, and here's what he said. He said, the cost of Obamacare is too much, and I'm going to look for alternatives, period.
Right. Well, the last
Period.
he's
You
been
can- you
looking
can
for-
say-
well, where's his plan? He's had like 10 years or so to develop one.
10
Where
years.
is it?
Who's had 10 years to do it?
Well, he proposed in 2016 he would replace it with something better. So it's been it's been 8 years or so. He still hasn't come up with anything.
So in the last 3 years, when he's not been president, he should have done something.
Well, he should have done something before he even proposed in 2016 to
Okay.
replace it.
All right.
They have
Well,
something
thank
to
you.
replace it with.
Thank you. I understand where you're coming from. Thanks for the call.
Well,
Rusty, Rusty, are you there?
Yes, I am, Jack.
Hello,
Jack,
Rusty.
Did you or your call screener say that was the flaming conservative?
No, that was the flaming liberal.
Yes, that's what I thought. It took me a while to remember his voice. I haven't heard him on the radio in quite some time. I don't know about Jim Smith.
And it was another example of using words that aren't necessarily true. I mean, his immediate jump off was, if Trump's elected, he's going to repeal Obamacare. Okay, and he presumed that was true because he heard Trump was critical of Obamacare. And I just looked online during the commercial break, and I saw his post, Trump's post, where he said, I'm going to look for alternatives because Obamacare is too expensive and it's not very good health care. That was his quote. And I'm saying, okay, now, if you want to demonize Trump, you can put words in his mouth. You can change what he said. But that doesn't advance the ball at all. The point is Obamacare too expensive, or does it work? There are a lot of people that are not happy with it. There are a lot of people who say it's too expensive. So I'm in favor of looking for alternatives if they exist. And so anyway, but what did you call about, Rusty?
Let me tell you what I'm gonna call about.
Okay.
I'm gonna try not to elaborate, but I'm asking you for maybe up to a minute.
Go ahead.
To bring two thoughts together that you said.
Okay.
One of them is the Muslims. I say Muslims, not just Arabs.
Sure.
They're in the country. There was a poll taken, a survey taken, somewhere between 5 and 10 years ago, I think, and they asked the Muslims that are in the mosque, which would they rather live under, Sharia law or U.S. type of democracy?
Sure.
And half of them said Sharia law. Now, we may not be able to stop these Muslims from coming in because they'll allow anybody in this country. At least the Democrats will, and some Republicans as well. We may not be able to stop that. But I want to connect the other thought that you have been talking about the teachable moment.
Yes.
With the teachers. Hillary Clinton said it takes a village.
Mm-hmm.
It's really not up to the teacher all the village to teach these kids not to hate or to kill and so on. It's up to the parents. You cannot substitute teachers for parents. And that's what we keep trying to do in this country. You were talking about test scores. Test scores are not going to stop people from killing people. Because they become more academic, that doesn't mean their nature is going to change. And I guess anything I'm hearing here is that you might be saying, if we had better education, none of these, I don't know about none, I don't think you were saying none of these. Many of these things would not be happening. When it really comes back to the background of the family, if they're fortunate enough to have, obviously, two-parent family or even one.
Well,
but I'm just simply saying, I don't think this is happening in our country. It's happening because we're putting our confidence in people that really are not the source of influencing these children.
Okay.
They're being influenced by Muslims and so on because they have no parental influence and roots in their lives. And so when they get around all these causes, they're attacking Jews or whoever else it is, and because they have no background of strong parental influences. So
okay,
that was more than a minute. So go ahead.
I don't disagree with what you said.
Okay.
And so the next question is, why don't they? Why aren't the parents stepping up to do what they're doing? Well, you kind of answered that. In many cases, there's only one parent. And I believe anyone who thinks one parent can work, follow their own career, and raise children is dreaming. It doesn't happen. There may be some extraordinary people that can, but the great amount of people cannot do that. Okay, now, so do we change that? Well, maybe so. In the meantime, and if it requires getting better teachers and teachers that are different than what they were when you and I were in high school, then we need to do that. And here's my point. When the child wakes up in the morning, he's under his parents' control for what, an hour and a half before he goes to school.
Maybe.
Right. When he comes home from school at 3 or 4 in the afternoon, he's going to be at home, maybe alone, maybe with someone who's sitting with him, whatever. But for another 5 hours, and then he's going to go to sleep, and then he's got to go to bed, maybe 6 hours. Okay. You've got from 8 in the morning until 4 in the afternoon, roughly speaking, when he's in someone else's care. Now, I don't know why we are losing that opportunity in teaching, but we are. During that time period, we have decided that we have public schools and that it's free, and our children are going to be taught by people. So to blame the parents, yes, they can do much better. Much better. Okay, but the social fabric right now is a little different than it was when you and I were coming up. We don't have the parents that are there to do it. We don't have the extended family. Hell, we don't even have the nuclear family anymore. So the point of the parents, and I'm with you 100%, they need to do better, they could do better, but I'm focusing on the reality of those 8 hours a day, 5 days a week from, September until June. Those folks, go ahead. Didn't mean to interrupt you.
Just one thought there, because I know the time is running out for the break.
Okay, and we got to take a break. Will you hold on until after?
Hold on.
Okay,
sure.
Hold on, and put your thoughts together, and we'll get to you in a break. This is the Jack Clegg Show, WGSO 990 AM. Our call-in number is 504-556-9696. We're talking about education. Back in a few moments.
without signage is like a car with a flat tire. It's not going anywhere fast. Sir Speedy can change that. We're a trusted resource for sign design and production. Whether you need trade show displays, banners, posters, directional signs, window decals, wall graphics, or more, Sir Speedy's sign capabilities can help your business get noticed. Call us today at 504-586-9812. Sir Speedy, we do it.
Hi, I'm William Wallace. You can hear me live on Tuesday nights at 5 o'clock here on WGSO, or see what I have to say on Facebook at William Wallace for America.
Donate your vehicle and make a difference. WGSO 990 AM has partnered with Charitable Adult Rides and Services, also known as CARS, to allow you the opportunity to donate your car, truck, motorcycle, RV, or boat to our nonprofit organization. You may qualify for a tax deduction while supporting a cause that is near and dear to your heart. Simply go to WGSO.com and follow the link on our homepage. Vehicle donation pickup is always free to you, and most vehicles can be picked up within 24 to 72 hours. You'll receive an initial car donation receipt upon pickup, and then the CARS team will work to turn your car into cash to support our cause. Once your vehicle is sold, the CARS team will provide you proper tax forms in time to file. Their friendly donor support representatives are available 7 days a week to assist throughout the process. Again, for more information, go to WGSO.com.
Ryan Richardson here. Tune in every Saturday from 11 a.m. until 12 noon on WGSO 990 AM for Conversations with Ryan Richardson.
Hey, it's Christian. DTS Appliance Direct is moving to City Park. Go now to their current location, 3240 Paris Road in Chalmette, right next to Winn-Dixie. DTS Appliance Direct is liquidating their current inventory up to 25% off on appliances, high-end appliances, Z-Line, Blaze Grill, Monogram, Cafe, Hire, and many more. Call DTS Appliance Direct, 504-766-0738. Take advantage of this massive, massive deal. Call DTS Appliance Direct, 504-766-0738.
Round these parts,
Pass will go out there and it's intercepted.
the game of football
Hammered back at the 29-yard line.
is all
Caught at the 15-yard line. 10, 5.
the rage.
Touchdown, Louisiana.
It means everything. It really does.
This is your radio home for Louisiana Ragin' Cajuns football.
Catch all the action of Ragin' Cajuns football this season, only on the community voice of the Crescent City, WGSO 990 AM.
You might be afraid to speak out for fear of cancel culture or losing your job. Christian Garrick Show on WGSO is your platform. Noon to 2 weekdays right here on 990 AM WGSO.
All right, New Orleans, this is the fourth and final segment of the exciting Jack Clegg Show. Tonight we have some great callers and some great topics. Rusty, you still there?
Yeah. Yes, one more thought.
Go ahead.
Maybe you have what I'm saying in reverse.
Okay.
I'm not saying the parents basically couldn't be better, but the problem is we're expecting too much out of teachers. The teachers got 20 or 30 students in some cases.
Okay.
And we expect them to be the parents of all these strange kids.
Right.
The stranger, no matter how much they can relate to them, identify with them, they're still strangers to them. And we're expecting this teacher to become friend, family, teacher, educational teacher, and so on. And it's not working. It's just not. You cannot demand that out of any human being and think these kids are not going to be influenced by other things other than that one teacher who's got 20 or 30 students. And if they're in high school, they got multiple, maybe multiple classes, not just one class, and so on. And I'm thinking we're expecting too much out of this. And that's where Hillary came in with Takes a Village. She's saying, well, if it can't be that one teacher, then all society should take place. And they're not focusing on the best person to give that child friendship, care, parentalness, and that's the family, because you can't, no teacher can do all this, what all those students.
And I understand, and I hear the utter frustration of what you're trying to say, and it is frustrating because
Yes.
let me look at it this way. Okay. What topics are being taught? Or let me ask this question. Are there topics which are being taught contrary to right and wrong? Meaning they themselves are using topics which they claim are teaching right and wrong, and they have plenty of time to do that. Now, and when I say they, this is awfully generalized. They're terrific teachers, and they're not getting the support they need, or they're being misled by others. And I think that's happening. And the example, let me give you 3 examples. White privilege. That's taught in school. That's taught in school. Toxic masculinity. That's taught in school. These are things that are being taught. And my approach is, wait a minute, hold it. How are we training these teachers? And you're right. I don't want to demand too much of them, but they are taking the place of parents. Great topic. I got another call I want to get on. Thanks, Rusty. Always a great topic. Matthew, are you there?
So the
education.
Education.
Yes.
So you started the show off talking about the incident in Palestine. What do the Jews in Israel, especially, have that the Palestinians do not?
Democracy.
No. You see, that's a colonialist construct.
Well, no, you just asked me what they have that is not in Palestine, and I told you.
What they have is money.
Who has money?
And the reason they have that money, the Jews, and the reason they have that money is because they stole it from the Palestinians.
You're being facetious, aren't you?
Partially. This is what these kids are taught. This is in their curriculum.
Well,
they're taught that.
This is part of the radical. This is part of the radicalization curriculum, right? That's what you're saying.
Right, and the teachers may actually believe it because if they're recent graduates of the colleges of education, they're full-blown trained Marxists.
Okay. What angers me the most is, and you're absolutely right. What angers me the most is our FBI and our Department of Justice know exactly how youth is radicalized. They know it well. Okay,
and they approve of it.
And apparently so, because while there's a warning giving to Americans to travel overseas, be careful when you travel. They're warning citizens about traveling overseas. Okay, what have they done to protect parents, citizens in the United States, from the radicalization of American students? We see it every day. We see this happening.
They're busy tracking down all those white supremacists that attacked the Capitol with stupid dive bombers and Panzer tanks.
They're answering the most base of calls, and that is for political support for the leader. And you're 100% right. And that is really a great topic. Why isn't the FBI, why isn't the Justice Department releasing to educators what radicalized students? At the beginning of the show, I talked about a lawsuit that was filed by 33 attorney generals against Meta for exploiting the youth psychology, the problems with young, to get them to buy into their own platforms. Okay, why isn't the federal government, who has all this information about radicalization of young people, why aren't they telling us how they do it? Why aren't they saying to educators, you got to watch out for this, you got to watch out for that? They're not doing
first
it.
off, the educators that they would have to tell that to agree with the radicalization, because go back to colonist, oppressor versus oppressed narrative.
That is what Rusty and I were just talking about. You're absolutely right. It's going to require finding out what's really happening in schools. Remember the manifesto. Remember the manifesto issue with the Nashville killings. Okay.
Yeah, the manifesto. Yes.
It has been leaked. We now see it. We see what that girl, Audrey Hale, called those 9-year-old students. They were crackers. That's what she called them. They were crackers.
White privilege.
In the school in Queens that I told a story about, that was what they called that teacher. A cracker.
Yeah. Again, it is the oppressor versus the oppressed narrative.
That's
because
you're absolutely right.
They're most likely, quote unquote, non-white. They may even be Muslim. They believe that they are the oppressed.
Right.
And how dare their teacher takes up for the oppressor Jew who stole the land and the money from the Palestinians.
And that's their story, and they're sticking to it just like what's his name? Bart Simpson. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. All right. Thanks for the call. Appreciate it. Thursday night, we'll continue this somewhat. A little change, but we'll continue this. Thanks for the call, Matthew. Okay. I see we only have a nanosecond. We only have a few seconds. I wasn't able to get to everything I wanted to tonight. However, I am very, very, very supportive of parents getting more involved in school. I don't want to disagree with one of the callers putting responsibility on parents, but when kids are in the custody of the school for 8 hours a day, parents need to know what's going on, and they need to be more active. Some are doing a great job. Some don't have the time to. So it's not an easy solution. It's not easy, but we have to keep working on it to avoid some problems. Anyway, thanks for listening. Thanks to all the callers, and we'll see you Thursday night for the Jack Clegg Show on WGSO 990 AM. Have a good evening.
This is Kate Delaney from America Tonight. The show kicks on at midnight, and I'm loving the overwhelming support in New Orleans. What a group of fantastic listeners here on WGSO